Hey folks, Bravo Echo here. Welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. As promised, I'm getting a YouTube video together to edit and get loaded up. It's 11:30 at night, and the days are long here on the ground working the disaster in the community where we're at. Hard work, long days, but very rewarding. And on this video, I have a lot of on-ground footage. Some of it I have voice to, and some of it's just video. But I'll edit it all together for you, and you can watch it as you desire. And then at the end, I have a short interview with Dr. Tracy Elder, who I'm working with the International Alliance of Chaplain Corps here on the ground. Hope for Survival, supporting her in this organization, and everything's going forward. So I'll make this short, and so I can get this video out to you, and I'll continue to provide you updates as often as possible. Okay, sometimes time just doesn't prevent it, or having access to Starlink for internet to upload it. So anyway, hang on, and hope this gives you a better picture, not just of the disaster, but gives you a better understanding of how this whole process works for disasters of all types. Okay, so hang on.
I'm Ryan. This is Peter. This is Caleb. We came up from Ecclesia Church in Conway, South Carolina. We came up Sunday first to deliver supplies. We put out a calling Saturday, and by Sunday afternoon, the whole lobby is pretty much filled with supplies. We have 2 more trailers coming tonight to live with them. So we figured out pretty quickly that there's lots of supplies coming in. So what we've been doing the last few days is going around helping people where we can, clean up, maybe chainsaw. The American Red Cross reached out to us and wanted to know if we want to bring some meals up here to Elk Mills. And I told them, if you give us 100 meals, we'll come on up. We went and picked them up. We came up here, we started delivering. That's when we got a flat tire. But right now, we're trying to get out some hot meals. Our church Sunday is going to be sending another crew in of 3 guys to help the Elk Mills area clean up. And,
yeah, it's pretty devastated here.
It is. And everybody here, we love them. Caleb, we've fallen in love with this community. And so anything we can do to help. Again, we'll have next 2 weeks we'll be sending crews up to help just clean up, coordinate with the fire department where we can here, and
yeah, they lost
just
everything.
helping what we can. So
This cement pad that we're standing on right now was the fire department, and you can see what's left of the fire department. It's gone.
It's amazing.
And the fire chief's over there enjoying a nice shepherd's pie.
It's amazing the force of the water.
It's mind-blowing.
Mother's nature.
When you see railroad tracks that are just bent like a straw, it's unbelievable. These are just these guys are just one group of so many churches that are spread out all over the disaster area, bringing supplies and hot meals, and focused on winter, now getting sleeping bags and heaters and cold weather gear for the folks who basically have nothing. So this is a shepherd's pie dinner for many. Thank you guys for being up here.
Thank you. And
And this is the area where we're working at. Our command post is inside of this trailer that was provided to us. So we got to talk over the generator running to power it. So fortunately, we're blessed to be enclosed and not in a tent. Sun up to sundown, the utility crews are busting their hump, replacing poles, running lines, and trying to get connectivity back to restore power. Right now the estimate is at the earliest Thanksgiving, which is pretty awesome when you can see how much damage is down here. It's pretty devastating. So crews are all over the place. This bridge that I'm standing on at the moment is passable. However, it has already been deemed damaged and it will have to be replaced. You can see, looking out, the water was way up above this bridge, and the force of it just ripping guardrails and trees and everything else in its path. Some of the authorities are saying that the river now actually has a new path, that it carved out through the force and the cutting power of the water. It has cut out a new path through these mountains. So cold 38 degrees this morning. I'm not complaining. There's many who slept in this cold, but it's actually a beautiful day. The fog's lifting up off the river. Much work ahead, much to be done, but we will prevail. Thanks for all your support. This area here is about 100 yards or more off the water, and it was completely half or more submerged in the river. All this area through here, all damaged, and mold removal is in the plans for this building here. The folks who own this store own that building, and they're getting all their gear out and they're going to demolish the building, from what we understand. These trailers are full of supplies that were brought in as soon as the water receded, and they're getting all the supplies out and moving them, and they're taking these trailers away. But as soon as the water receded, the local community stocked food, water, shelter, and needs in these trailers for folks to come by and get. The power of the local community in these disasters is beyond explanation. This is why Hope for Survival for 5 years has continually pounded the importance of community. It's all about community. You will survive the short term and long term with community, while critical infrastructure is being dealt with, power returned, water. Most of the wells, all the water in the wells is going to have to be retested and deemed safe. So in the meantime, over on the far side here, our working site. On the far side, working with the EPA to bring in a water treatment capability, so folks in the meantime can come in and get fresh water to take with them. The cement pad on the far side by the black truck is going to be the medical trauma area. They're bringing in a trailer that folds out to a 40 by 40 facility, and half will be for medical and half for trauma. Because so many roads are cut off around here, for example, one of the many providers coming in here hauling rubble out, and they're bringing in large loads of dirt and rock to try to build some infrastructure that some of these support mechanisms can come in and set up on. But as I was saying, that cement pad over where the black truck's at, that was the fire department. And as you can see, all that's left is the cement pad. The fire department was completely washed away, and they lost most of their equipment. So because they're unable at this time to respond to calls, the duties for fire, medical, and even law enforcement response is being divvied out to surrounding communities, because a lot of the roads through here are cut off, collapsed, bridges down. So the outside communities are picking up those needs while things get rebuilt. So when I talk about, try to explain to folks, and I talked about it in chapter 1 of my first book, that you don't matter, it's not personal. When critical infrastructure goes down, it's destroyed, the main priority of authorities is reestablishing infrastructure. The community, private sector, you and I, we the people, take care of our community, food, water, shelter, for those that can't self-sustain, while authorities work to get in utility companies to restore power, put in new poles, fix roads, assess bridges, fix bridges, hospitals, communications, emergency response. All this is your critical infrastructure that's often taken for granted until you don't have it. So this is why it's so important for anyone and everyone. There's no stores close by. So access to food is what you have in your house, or what your community brings to a hub for you to come by and pick up food. And then you may not have the ability to cook it, so that's a whole nother need. Heat, the ability to cook food, the ability to stay warm, clothing, a heat source, some form of lighting, candles, flashlights, solar lanterns, so on and so forth. It's your pick. The important thing is, or the point here is, you need the ability to self-sustain. Okay? This disaster hit in basically a blink. There was 15 to 20, 22 inches of water that came down in a matter of hours, a day, maybe a day and a half at most. This was before Hurricane Helene even hit ground in Florida. There was already massive amounts of rain that had hit this area, and then Helene came in right at the tail end of all the rain and provided more rain on top of it. Out of your control, but the thing you can control is that you need to self-sustain. Food, water, shelter, medicinal, and so forth. Utility crews are everywhere. You can see here they're putting in more poles and stretching utility lines across the river. It's down below. And they started within 15 minutes of sun up, and they'll be in here till dark working. So it's putting the devastation aside, it's pretty remarkable how many of the utility crews are here. So bless them all, pray for their safety. You can see here on the side of the bridge where the water was up over, but how the power and force of the water flowing just washed trees into any point that they got caught. But you can see how it washed out underneath the bridge, the infrastructure, and there's trees caught up underneath. And someone has painted on the bridge, "Rest in peace, Pops, always missed, sis," on the side of the bridge. And down below, there's other where folks have painted onto the bridge underneath. This was a photo that washed down the river, and someone found it and pulled it out and left it here at one of the locations you can pick up supplies. I guess hoping maybe a family would see it in their lost possessions and have it. I wanted to show you a really uplifting video here. You can see how the guardrail is taken out, and you can see over here at the bridge, I believe this bridge has been condemned. I think you can see all the debris, and the water came all the way up. And right across the street here, you see this stone church. And the church was flooded out. There's crews in there now pushing mud and cleaning, volunteers cleaning out the church. But you notice the structure of this church is still intact with all the damage and the power of the water. And when you walk in the church, there's a Bible, and the Bible is open to the book of Job. I just thought, how, what's the right word? How coincidental, maybe? I don't know. But there's so many, in these disasters, you come across so many of these stories where Bibles remain untouched and still open to where they were last read. God is good. God is good. This is one of the many homes that was flooded out. I I had this as a picture in, I think, video one maybe, but I'm about 40 to 60 yards off the river, and you can see how high it came up to, and it picked these, not the construction equipment, but the ambulance and all the vehicles piled behind. It just washed all these vehicles down the flow, and had a collection point right here with all the rubble and trailers and the ambulance and a maintenance truck and other vehicles. It's incredible how much force the current coming through here carried. Through all the disaster and everything we're seeing in hurricane relief, we always have an uplifting moment, and by cracky, here it is. You guys might recognize that hat, Trump 2024, keep America safe and great and wonderful and awesome and bigly, and what other words am I missing?
I'm Trump in disguise, checking you all out.
All right, and right behind him on this quad, you'll see American flag and a Trump flag. We're in great hands here, folks. Y'all would love to be here right now because these are your people. We the people, we shall prevail. Go get some water, warm it up, put out the dock. All right, I got two gentlemen here from Mountain City, Tennessee, who just showed up half hour ago with 3 trailers and trucks full of sleeping bags, pillows, grills, charcoal, starter fluid, rocket stoves, animal feed, 60 or 70 bags of animal feed. I think they're 50-pound bags roughly. And tell the viewers where you are, other than Mountain City, what organization you're with.
I'm with Big Bad Wolf Motorsports and Iron Horse Antiques. We're on 2303 South Shady Street. If anybody wants to drop off donations or send them there, we can get them out to the community. Reeves, you guys are with the Collective Thinkers, is that right?
Yeah, the Collective Conscious group that they order things online, send it to us, and that's the reason I got that list off of you. And we'll have that stuff probably within 4 days. So my wife's heading that up, and thanks to this gentleman, he's my cousin. He
Awesome.
helped a lot in getting it organized, and I'm just part of it. He's the main organizer.
My 2 business partners, Jonathan Lewis and Steve Duggar, they've worked their butts off. We've got a whole crew of guys. We've got 5 or 6 trucks coming in today from out of state. So I'm gonna give you my number. It's 276-492-9689. You can text me, you can call us, and if for summer's out in the community, you need something, let us know, we'll get it to you.
Oh, this is absolutely awesome, especially with winter coming on. When that trailer pulled in and I looked over and it had all those winter supplies, charcoal, grills, heaters, propane, sleeping bags. A lot of these folks up in the hills are going to be without electricity for weeks.
Well, the good Lord
So-
blessed us, and we're going to do our part to give it back.
That's it, man, brother, pay it forward, right?
Yep.
That's why we're all out here. So again, from the folks who can't thank you much, and whether they say it or not, I'm sure they want to, but in their heart, I know they do.
Yeah, we're glad to do it.
And we like that hat too. See that hat?
Sir,
We're going to
See
get out
that?
of here, we're blocking
I
traffic.
think Trump delivered that to him personally.
probably is.
All right, stay blessed.
Thank you, man.
So our first pod arrived today. Tennessee Department of Health through TEMA, and this little box or fort has 3 rooms in it, and this is where the medical staff's going to be manning out with nurses and a doctor, and if it is self-sustained with a generator, and hopefully we have them on site soon to start manning it out. We have folks stopping by with medical needs, and then a second one's going to go right here that will have the local sheriff manning with his deputies, I'm sure, manning it out. It'll be like a mini emergency operations center, kind of like what we stood up right over a few feet away on the other side of these trailers. So slowly things are coming together, considering it's been about 72 hours since their first person hit the ground, and things are moving forward. We had an Army and Air Force officer here just a few minutes ago looking at the facility and so forth. So things are moving forward. We're blessed. Hey everyone, I'm with my dear friend, Dr. Elder, Tracy, aka Tracy. Anyway, and it's 11 or so, roughly, after a umpteen-hour day out on site. And Tracy was kind enough to do, we're going to do a quick recap to kind of tell you, today's Friday. So we've been on the ground 3 days, 3 full days, and kind of do a quick recap to everything that's kind of happened to this point, and the steps we're looking in the near future to continue to move the progress forward, or move the football down the field. I think we're both in agreement. We're fortunate and blessed that we are working in a community that is resilient. They're what they've already accomplished, and everyone's desire to link arms to get some level of sustainability back to their people, which is essential, especially with winter coming on.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts to this point?
Well, I got to tell you, when I was here at the beginning of the storm versus 10 days in, they moved from emergent urgent to recovery in 2 weeks. I've never seen that before. And it was the people themselves who did it. I mean, they were out there with the chainsaws. They were clearing the roads. They were mudding out each other's houses. They were feeding each other. They were doing all of these things without anybody else's help. And they didn't wait for anybody either. And they weren't standing around waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. They just got to work. So now we've moved into phase 2, which is the recovery stage. Now this is where it's going to get a little bit hairy for people, because this is the phase where they begin to realize exactly what they've lost. The grief cycle's kicking in. The emotions are going to be high, because if you can imagine standing there trying to, hey, I want to bake a cake, and you realize that you don't have any pans or a mixing bowl because it's all gone. All that got swept away. It was all gone. And then you find yourself standing at the counter just crying because it's like, okay, I can't even bake a cake. I can't. And that may seem like a small thing, but it's a very big thing. Because it's the enormity of the loss. And there's a lot of people who've lost everything and they have nothing left to lose. And they are, they're coming together. But this phase is a longer phase. And this is where we're going to start to see a lot of the critical incident stress coming out, the anger, some of the other outbursts, or some of the antisocial acts, or some of the other symptoms that occur in this phase. It's not, I always tell my people, a behavioral change is not a character change. When somebody's under this type of stress, they may do things or say things that they would have never said before, or done before, because it's the stress that's building on them, that's helping to kind of drive some of that behavior versus their character. Their character is the same. They're still the same people that they were. It's just that their behavior isn't normal for them, but it's normal for being under this type of stress. We always say that abnormal behavior is normal after a crisis. And so this phase is a little bit longer, and it's going to take a little bit longer for everybody to move the ball across the line. Now, went very quickly for the first 2 weeks. Now it's slowing down. So the help is going away. There's different help coming in, but for the most part, all of the quick responses are over.
Local.
Yeah. Now we're back down. Now we're back to, okay, what do we really need here? How are we going to manage that? All the assets are out. At our site too, we today they deployed something called a fort, which is it's like a self-contained building, and it's going to be the clinic. And doctors will be there 3 days a week hopefully starting by Monday. They were hoping to be operational by Sunday. So by Monday, there'll be a clinic there where doctors will be treating people and seeing patients and things like that. They also want to put in another fort with a police presence and things like that too. One of the other things that we're hoping to get is some form of water treatment. So that's being worked on right now. We've been in contact with the EPA, and they came out again today and to look at our site and to talk about what that would look like to get some water treatment in there. Because people who have wells don't have electricity, can't pump water up out. Those wells could also be compromised by water or bacteria or anything else. So when electricity comes back on, they can't use their wells to begin with until they're tested. So those are new realities, because these people have been self-sufficient for a very long time. They just do it. They just live their lives. They've never asked anything of anybody. They've never been bothered by anybody. They've just lived their lives, and it's by far not a affluent community. But these people have been in survival mode for a long time too. They are the forgotten in a lot of ways, where we are here, and so we're trying to do the best that we can do to continue to offer hope, to continue to offer help, continue to offer whatever it is that we're able to do within our experience and expertise. But what I really want you to come away with from this is that this group of people that we're working with right now, they are resilient is a great word. If there was another word beyond that, they're beyond resilient. They are surviving. They're survivors, and they're strong. They're strong people, and they're surviving this we've seen some things that would have put people under the bed in a fetal position, never wanting to come out. But these people, they're coming down and saying, "Hey, I've got 2 hours. Can I help you? What can we do to help you?" So they're not staying in a hole or a hovel trying, feeling sorry for themselves. They're coming down and saying, "Hey, I've got 2 hours. Thank you for the blanket, but I've got 2 hours. Can I help you? Can we just give me something? Just give me something to do, and I'll do it." I mean, because that's always who they were, and it just brings it out even more. And they're checking on each other up there. They're neighbor to neighbor. It's church to church. It's family to family. All that stuff is going on, and they're taking care of each other. And I have seen some of the absolute worst cases of poison ivy that I have ever seen in my life in these poor people. And they're coming down with these huge blisters from poison ivy, and it's spread all over them. And they're like, "Would you please, could you please tell me if you have something for this itch. But, somebody like me, I'd be like, oh my God, somebody do something. I'm dying over here. I'm just getting, but they've got poison ivy in there all over them. And they're just polite. They're just like, is it possible you might have something for this itch? And it's like, you poor thing. And right now we don't have anything like that. And I don't know what the clinic's going to be stocking, but I know that they're going to be doing vaccines and stuff. But if anybody out there wants to send us some Ivy Rest and some calamine lotion or something for poison ivy, please send it. We'll take it.
Express mail.
Yeah, but they're just so good about it. It's I don't know that everybody would be.
I think one of the things that is, I say this as an absolute compliment, 100%. It's not. When you have any kind of emergency or disaster, tornado, hurricane, whatever it may be, in larger cities, this is a very small community. And one of the things that has really impressed me is the level of competence in how fast they started dealing with critical infrastructure to the best they could with what they had. While there were community members by their side who were stocking trailers full of food, water, shelter, tents, sleeping bags, and so forth, the key personnel in this small community were immediately. I mean, one area where a bridge fell, they cut down trees and laid them across the river, and then laid additional logs across the river, and they could run quads. And then another bridge that's down, they took 2 flat semi-trailers. It's brilliant. And they butted them up together level, and they're driving across them.
And yeah, they chained them.
And
chained them at the bottom. Yeah.
This is a great example. We often talk about individuals who are really, really good. They're book smart in NIMS and understanding the whole incident management. But when you put them up boots on the ground, they can't think outside the box.
Right.
Right. And we're seeing it here. At how fast, that they cleared roads. They got trees out of the way. How fast, and they may have checklists for this. I don't know what they have. But when we were talking with the fire chief, I think it was maybe yesterday, but they lost their fire response capability. They lost their medical response capability, and immediately, because of roads that are out, you can't just drive from this side to this side in responding. So the surrounding communities immediately stepped in, and there's one community that's covering fire response and medical over here, another one over here.
It's called mutual aid.
And
it's we're covering
mutual assistance.
Yeah, we're covering.
I guess I'm just shocked in a community this small that on their own they knocked a home run in that area. And that's not, I'm not degrading them. It's just
I think one of the reasons for that is because they've always been doing it. Because this department only had 9 firemen, and this department had 12 firemen, or this one. But I think they have been practicing this for such a long time, for 34 years when this department was built, according to the chief. They've had mutual aid agreements with all of these other ones, because whenever you're fighting a house fire, 9 isn't going to do it. And so I think they've always been that way. And then,
joint response.
And then whenever this came together, it wasn't hard. And the other thing is that nobody's playing the power play of who's in
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah, I think that,
That's what's impressive.
yeah, we were talking about that earlier, that
Yeah.
everyone's coming to the table equal,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how can we help each
Mm-hmm.
other to build that, to rebuild that sustainability for that community, because just without a disaster, we're getting ready to go into the hardest period of the year for so many people,
Mm-hmm.
the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
They lost loved ones, right? Or for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to have many people, they've lost their jobs, they have no income, they may have lost their home. They may be having to live with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
They may be living in a camper, or maybe in some other structure, but it's not home.
Mm-hmm.
And
And they don't have anything familiar of their own
Yeah.
left
They've
as
lost
to even surround them. Yeah.
so,
There's no comfort in
so
that.
now, other than gaining sustainability, now you're going to have grief counselors.
Debriefings, critical
Probably
and stress
through the
management
next
debriefings.
6 months.
Yeah. Oh, at least more.
You
It'll
know,
be longer.
just through
Yeah.
this period,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm homeless, I'm jobless, I have no money, and the
And
holidays
I didn't have
are
flood
here.
insurance.
Yeah,
I didn't have flood
most
insurance.
of them don't have flood
Yeah.
insurance.
And that FEMA form is really, really hard to fill out, and I keep getting denied, and then it's all those other kind of frustrations in there too, because they're going to need something now, and it's not going to be there in the way that it needs to be there for them. And so one of the things about that is supporting a community through something they don't know that they don't know. And being able to support them through the rest of these phases takes people who really understand what that actually looks like and can have relevant help for it. It's really easy to go with platitudes and things like that. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's absolutely necessary to say. But if you have to go beyond that to what do you need and how can I help you, and then really mean it and then really provide. And most of it I teach in my chaplain training, the first thing we teach is listening. The ability to listen gives you the opportunity to speak, and that is the one thing that these people are going to continue to do, is that they want to talk about it, and never tell them that they shouldn't. Never tell them that you should just look forward. That's not how it is. They need to get it off them. It's like being snake bit. The venom is going through you, and you have to be able to puke the poison, and you have to be able to or extract the venom. And if you don't do that, it festers, and that can last a lifetime for people. And if we can, and what we do, we try to help extract the venom, and we help them puke the poison, and we hold the bucket while they do it. And we try really, really hard to allow them the voice that says, I'm not okay. This isn't okay, I'm not okay. And allow them to say that. Instead of saying something, well, it's going to get better. Well, the real answer is, no, this isn't okay. Your baby should be with you. Your son should be here. Your father should be, or your home should still be here. Whatever it is that they lost. You're right. This isn't okay. It's not okay. But we'll get to okay soon. But we're not there yet. And I'm with you, and I hear you. And what do you need? And how can I help you? And if it's just to listen, that is one of the greatest gifts that you can give somebody. Is just to hear their story, hear their heart, hear their pain, and if you can't improve on silence, don't try. Just listen.
One of the things, I don't know if you noticed this or not. We've both been in and around disasters, whether it's a natural disaster, man-made, Civil War areas and so forth. Something happened early today. Actually, it happened yesterday for me.
Mhm.
But I was across the street at the store
Mhm.
that's condemned. And to the left of the door on a windowsill, there's a little spongy picture frame.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
And there was a little boy's picture in that picture frame.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's from the community. I don't know if it washed down the river from another town. I have no clue.
Or somebody, yeah, somebody found a picture up. I don't know.
But to see that picture
Mhm.
right there
Mhm.
of this little kid smiling, it's like it makes you want to work harder.
Mhm.
And for us, because we understand the process and we kind of have a view of the big picture of putting blocks in place.
Yep.
But for the mother or father that walks out of the hills down to where we're at, all they see is maybe their loss. They're not complaining,
Mm-mm.
but that's their bucket,
Mhm.
right? And here we have lots of buckets. It's like, here's a projection of power. Here's a projection of the next shipment of heaters and propane and sleeping bags and tents and so forth. They don't see that because they're walking carrying, I don't have a foundation. I don't have my home. I can't take care of my family. I failed my family. And so on and so forth, and they were keeping it inside because they're definitely not, very few of them have shared that outward. Maybe they're doing it to a neighbor or something, but we're not hearing it and seeing it. But I think as time goes on and these cold months get here,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going to be like, what's taking you so long? It's like,
Yeah.
well, tell me what's on your heart.
Mhm.
Because I'm not going to bore you with, here's all the steps that's been completed. They've put in 400 new power poles and they only have 200 more, or whatever how many to go. Well, that means nothing to them because
It hasn't hit their house yet.
they still can't give warmth
Mhm.
in the freezing temperatures to their family.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
and any disaster, because it's happening with this one outside the zone. And I'm not taking sides here. I have my own opinion, but this isn't the place for it. It is why community is so important because that is your first lifeline. But the process of how it's supposed to work is critical infrastructure, because when you clear the roads, you can get utility crews in and they can start running lines and getting that thing you want as comfort back, right? And so it's like, well, the government hasn't or the state hasn't. Well, those pieces are, from a state level, those pieces are moving. But the most important part is your community. That community, in the first hours and first days, that community is going to be the one that's going to hug you, they're going to feed you, they're going to give you water, and they're going to help you before anyone else gets in. And you can be angry that no one has showed up, but if they can't get to you yet, and you got to be willing. I've heard so many stories of helicopters going in and offering support or to pull people out, and they tell them to go away. They don't want food or aid. It's just leave us alone. And it's kind of mind-boggling, but
they're not going to leave their homes. They're not going to leave their homes. They're not going to.
No matter how damaged they are.
No, they're not going to leave their homes, and that's. I think that's part of it, and I think that they climbed a mountain and they built something.
Maybe the first time in their life.
Yes, and they are not going to. They're not going to walk away from everything everything it took to get there. You know, getting up there in the first place and building and carving out a life. And when you look at it that way, so you know, it is mind-boggling when you look at it from the perspective of where we, you know, like if my house, you know, I had a house fire, you know, I had a house burned down, that kind of thing. It wasn't as devastating to me as this is to them, because to me, I mean, it was stuff, but my family was safe. For them, it's not just stuff. It is their life. It is what it took out of them and what it took with them to build everything that they had. And it was theirs, and they owned it, and they nurtured it, and they raised their children there. They might have been children that were raised there, but it's the land means something to them, and it's on a very it's on a very existential level for them, that they're connected, and you know, that is something to see, and it's something to look at and go, you know, wow, that really is an amazing it's an amazing thing for you know, to see somebody that connected, that life, part of that life that belongs to the land, you know, that comes out of the land, that you give into the land and it comes out, and it's kind of primal in some ways. And I think that it's on I think every person has something primally in them where they want to build something that means something, and I see that, and it may not be a lot of material things, but I'll tell you, when they start talking about their memories of you know, being there and having the family there and all the things,
Raising kids.
yeah, and I mean, it's alive. It's not just a memory; it's alive for them, and I think it's pretty amazing. And you know, I was born in Appalachia. I was born and raised in Appalachia, in Western Pennsylvania and Ohio. It's, you know, that Western Pennsylvania roots of hills and hollers and a mindset, an Appalachian mindset of you got to do for yourself because nobody's going to do for you, and you do for others as you would have done for you. That kind of thing, that's still ingrained in me too. But there are, you know, but I am connected to a land too that I don't live in anymore. But every time I go there, it's in me. You know, and so I kind of understand on that level. It's a place where you come from, and it's not just a home. It's more than that. It's a connection that goes back generations, and it's all those generations are in you too. And you can't. And how do you give that up? For when something like this happens, so it's not just moving somebody or relocating somebody. It is like a death. That way, you know, it's more than just losing stuff. It's that whole generational connection to it, and it's deep stuff, and that's hard to deal with at this point too. And that's all going to come out, and we're gonna help them kind of heal as much as we can, as much as they'll let us, and as much as we can. We're gonna help them heal a little bit, and hopefully we get to be part on the other side of seeing the full recovery and seeing it happen. We did Katrina. We were in out of Mississippi for 5 years, doing Katrina. After Katrina, helping that community heal. You know, you do the debriefings, and then you do a lot of the other stuff to help them recover and heal. And it took like 5 years before it felt like it was really like it was really. They've really come back now, and it was more than just rebuilding. It was more than just rebuilding a bridge. It was rebuilding
people.
Yeah, it was rebuilding them in there too.
I don't know if I told you this story today, 'cause we were running in different directions.
Yeah.
Right up the road from us, the gravel road, the stone church.
Mm-hmm.
I was up there taking a couple cases of water and Gatorade where they're putting in a temporary fire department. There's an old stone church there right before you go up the other bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking and videoing the river, and someone came up to me and told me this story. But I turned a 180 at the church, and someone came over to me and they told me, the church was flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And we've witnessed the force and speed of the power of water bend railroad tracks, lift them off, pick up fire trucks, move mountains.
And redirect a river.
Yeah, the stone church is still standing.
Mm-hmm.
It did flood,
Mm-hmm.
mostly downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But when you walk into the church, their lane is the Bible, and it was still open to the last service they had out of the book of Job.
Mm-hmm.
And like how
Mm-hmm.
and I say that because I think it's important every day, but especially while we're here and what we're seeing. If you are a person who is not of faith, I would encourage you this Sunday to find a church near your house or wherever you are, and I would encourage you to go into that church and in your own way get on your knees and say a prayer of thanks, because there's no guarantee of tomorrow, and there's no guarantee tomorrow is going to end the way it started. And you can look at this community here and see that just like that lives changed. For some forever, but be open-hearted and open-minded. To seriously consider getting your life where it needs to be, because above everything here and everything that we're doing, that is so important. It's absolutely important for yourself more than for anything. Any last words?
Nope, I think I'm good. I'm
We're
I'm
tired.
sorry if I'm rambling,
We're
but
tired.
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Every day's
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, and we gotta do it again tomorrow.
Back at it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
We got
hey, thank
lots of
you.
work.
Thank you for following along, and for everyone who has donated, whether it's monetary. We had trailers coming in today. Had two business owners went together and they brought in 4 trailers out of their pockets with animal feed, charcoal grills, charcoal, propane heaters, propane rocket stoves, sleeping bags, and these are all new items, and out of the kindness of their heart, and both were people of faith, and I pointed this out before, and I think it's important again. We are absolutely surrounded by churches who are not from here. Hot meals, 2 and 3 hot meals a day that are cooked on a mobile kitchen. One was from Conway, South Carolina.
There's one from Georgia.
From Georgia. That these folks they're giving up their time out of their lives and their pocketbooks as well to come here, cook food, and take hot meals out to our area and the line workers and other people. And they're doing it out of kindness, because unless I specifically ask them what church they're from, they never
They
brought it
never
up.
tell you. Yeah.
They never brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Good deeds for we the people and mankind,
Mm-hmm.
and it's absolutely uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
So do it for yourself. Don't do it for me. Go find a church, visit it, and see how it makes you feel. You're always welcome. It's just you're turning down the invitations to go. But thanks for all your donations, resources, monetary, physical help. 2 trucks drove over here, some Hope for Survival friends from Huntsville, Alabama, and they're here to do labor work, chainsaw, and so forth. We've got another one coming from Kentucky, Hope for Survival family in Kentucky. And the donations keep coming and the resources. So, and if you can't do anything, the most important resource is the power of prayer. And we absolutely need all the prayers for wisdom and vision.
And they are being answered.
They
They
are.
are being answered right and left.
Things are moving.
Yep.
So again, thank you, and be blessed, and most of all, don't forget to give thanks. Bravo Echo out. Thank you, Dr. T.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, so hopefully you have a better picture of everything now, and a better understanding of what all goes into post-disaster, and some of the processes, and kind of maybe you have a better picture of the area here where we're working at. We're about 2 baseball throws to Boone, North Carolina, but we're in Tennessee, and we're about 5 baseball throws from Virginia. So we're way over here, but life's good, life's blessed, and hope you got something out of this video. If you like this video, please hit like, share with your friends, and if you're not a Hope for Survival follower, please consider subscribing and come along on this journey with us. And again, I'll update as content and time permits. If not, what's tomorrow? Saturday. If not tomorrow, then possibly on Sunday. All right. So take care and be blessed. Bravo Echo out.